Today I'm be showing you guys this glitch 6'7" lockdown build in NBA 2K22 Next Gen. Before we do hop into things though, if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. It's 100% free and takes 5 seconds. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of gameplay first, and then after that I'll show you guys how to actually make this glitched build. In this gameplay, I had just made and upgraded this build and decided to take it to the 1v1 court. This is honestly by far, in my opinion, the most fun court in the entire game. So as you guys can see, I'm going up against a 99 overall 1-star level 33, which means I'm probably playing against a pretty decent opponent. So first possession of the game, I do a step back into the mid-range, get him in the air, and go for a nice little layup. Also in this gameplay, I'm pretty sure I forgot to equip dunk packages, which definitely ended up hurting me a little bit later. When he gets the ball, he kind of just starts speed boosting left and right. Eventually, he does a step back and goes for a rim run. And then I don't really know what happened here. He went for a pro stick dunk, but he literally didn't fill up the meter at all, so I just grabbed the rebound. I'm able to just kind of walk past him and then go for a nice little dunk. The score is 4-0, and then he does the exact same sequence of moves they did the very first possession of the game. However, this time he does a couple of step backs and gets a somewhat open 3, which he goes ahead and bricks. Once I do get the ball, I left right a little bit, hit him with a crossover and speed boost the other direction, get him jumping in the air and get a nice little standing layup. Now this possession, I decided to just overplay the 3. I have a 6-point lead, so really the only way he's coming back is by shooting 3s. So I let him just have like a wide open rim run. I honestly didn't even think he was going to take it, especially that early in a possession. So he gets his first points up, and then when I get the ball, he's really just sagging off me a ton. I recognize this, but I know I'm the best when I shoot out of a step back, so I run to the mid area, do a step back, and green the shot. On this build, you just have to play up, even though I'm 6'7". Now here, you guys are going to notice how my lack of badges honestly hurt me. He just runs aside, does it between the legs, and I get my ankles broken since I don't have ankle braces on whatsoever. However, I do recover and get a nice contest on his 3-pointer. I have a 7-point lead and I have the ball, so I'm willing to take as many 2s as I have to. I do a momentum behind the back to the left, then do a crossover back to the right and get a wide open rim run. Also, the finishing on this build is very underrated. I couldn't really show it off, as I said, because I forgot to equip dunk packages, but trust me, it's very good. So he gets the ball, breaks my ankles again, but I again recover very well and get a nice contest on his 3-pointer. Now when I get the ball back, I have a 9-point lead. I dribble around a bit, do a step back, and get a full bar. If I had shooting badges or I had upgraded stamina more, I'd probably make this shot and don't get a full bar. But honestly, it just is what it is. This game honestly showed me how important ankle braces are. He just runs to the left and does a between the legs and is able to break me. That's the 3rd time in this game. Like, even with Lock Tank, I'm still getting broken. Off this ankle breaker, he does a pullback and greens a 3-pointer. When I get the ball back, I do a little triple threat move, do a step back, and shoot a 3-pointer. This time I actually think I mistimed it a little bit, but it goes in anyways, so it works out. Now in this possession, he honestly did something very smart. He's able to dribble past me, and as you guys can see, I literally just stopped moving because I thought he was going to take the dunk, and I was 100% fine with that. But then he runs into the corner and greens a 3-pointer. And this is honestly just a very smart play because a lot of times defenders are willing to give up the rim run, but then if you just continue running into the corner, you can get an easy 3. This possession, I do a backwards half spin into a connector, into a behind the back, and then a momentum. I step back and get wide open, probably should have shot that, but instead I speed boost to the rim and get an easy dunk. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to shoot 3s. I just mistimed the shot previously. And also I had a massive lead, so I figured I'd play it safe by taking the 2. When he gets the ball, he hits a rim run of his own and gets an easy dunk. After this, I miss a shot, but he's able to green an open 3 and pretty much did the same little run through the paint strategy as before. He had come back a little bit, but honestly, it was fine. I see he's just spamming triangles, so I tried to time his jumps correctly, and I think I did it somewhat correctly and get a nice little layup. At this stage of the game, of course, I was just fine with giving him 2s, so he goes ahead and takes another dunk. I noticed he had been sagging off a little bit for the past few possessions, so I hit him with a little triple threat half spin, step it back, and ice the game. So yeah, that was pretty much my very first game on this player, and I think it went very well. Now moving on to the second gameplay of this video, I want to show you guys this gameplay because as you guys can see, the person I'm going up against is 96 overall, level 39 with 2 stars. And honestly, it was probably on his way to hit level 40. So he starts with ball, dribbles a little bit, and then goes for a rim run and gets a nice little dunk. In this game, he was significantly taller than me, and also I had limited badges. I had barely upgraded block on this build, and it only really upgraded perimeter defensive badges with the very few badges I'd unlocked at that point. When I get the ball, I step it back and do it between the legs and get the bad speed boost. However, I do a normal crossover, speed boost to the right, and get a nice little dunk. Next possession, when he gets the ball, he misses a three-pointer. Then I go ahead, run it out, do 2 crossovers into a step back, and green the three-pointer in his eye. The possession after this, I'm playing very good defense, sticking on him, and he hits like a nice little layup. I think when this player is maxed out, all those shots will be blocks or will miss. The possession after this, I completely burn him, but then he gets a chase down block, which I honestly don't think happens if I have my dunk packages equipped. And it was very dumb of me not to equip them before this game. He clears the ball out, does momentum, runs straight towards the basket, and of course, I can't get a chase down, but he can. I mean, I guess that's how the game works. My player's not really upgraded that much. A little bit later, he's kind of bumping me and clamping me up. So what I decide to do is hold L2, back up, and then hit him with the drop step, which is something that people never see coming. When he gets the ball back, I'm not really that confident in his ability to shoot. So I kind of leave him open and he punishes me, does a step back and greens it. When I get the ball back, I completely cook him, get him sliding, run towards the basket, wait for him to jump, and then go up with a nice little layup. I definitely should have been doing this way more because he got a ton of chase downs. The possession after this, I clamp him up and get the rebound. I clear the ball out, left, right a little, speed boost towards the basket, get him in the air, and hit the nice little soft layup. The possession after this, I'm not gonna lie, could have turned very, very bad. But luckily, he mistimes his meter, and I don't get completely dunked on. The possession after this, I do a spin, do a step back, hit him with the basic one spin, speed boost to the left, drive towards the basket, and get a nice little rim run of my own. He comes right back at me and does a rim run of his own. Next possession, I hit him with a nice little speed boost, do a step back into the mid-range, and hit the midi. I'm not one to take a lot of mid-ranges, but I was there, so I decided to shoot it. Once he gets the ball, he does a step back and greens it. I definitely should have been respecting his shot a lot more. The score is 15-14 and I have the ball. I run to the right, do a step back, run into the midi, get the wrong basic one spin since he was bumping me. He then bumps me again, so I do a step back, speed boost to the left, get wide open, and green the three-pointer. Now at this stage of the game, you guys probably think I have the game in the bag, but honestly, I didn't. During this gameplay, I only had like 60 something stamina, and on a lot of offensive possessions that messed me up a ton. He also kept getting what I would consider somewhat lucky chase down blocks that I probably could have avoided if I remember to equip dunk packages. And then on the other side of the ball, he was getting all the dunks he wanted to. For 2 reasons: A, he was smart enough to equip dunk packages, and B, because I hadn't really upgraded block at all and was pretty much only using perimeter defensive badges. Not to mention, he was a little bit taller than me. So as you guys can see, he goes on a bit of a run and the score becomes 18-18. As you guys can see, I do a step back and get a full bar, but I guess I didn't have shooting badges and it also was somewhat contested, so it does make sense. When he gets the ball, he does a step back of his own, but this time greens it. I definitely should have been playing higher, but he seemed a little bit scared to shoot, and also I'd just been pretty much only rim running. With an upgraded player with dunk packages, I think I win that game. Fair play to him though, and GG's. So moving on to how to actually make this glitch 6'7" build. Now in order to glitch this build, what you're gonna have to do first is make sure you're on the metric system. Pretty much go to settings, scroll down until you see the units of measurement. Now when you're glitching this build, you're gonna want to go with point guard. I know there is a way to glitch the shooting guard position to make a similar build, but if you make it at the shooting guard position, for some reason it just has way less defensive badges. You're not actually going to be making the build I'm showing you guys. You just have to copy everything I'm doing in order to glitch the build. First, for the body settings, you have to go with 1.77 meters, 66 kg, 1.78 meters for the wingspan, and the body shape doesn't matter at all. Go ahead, press continue, and upgrade this build however you want to. You guys can see I'm pretty much just upgrading this build randomly. We're not actually going to be using this build, so just upgrade it as quickly as possible pretty much. Next, for the takeovers, these also don't matter. I'm just going with double advanced gathers. And then as you guys can see, I built the scoring machine. Your name might be a little bit different depending on how you upgraded it. Now, what you do from here is very important. First, you're going to want to press edit build, and then you're going to want to keep pressing circle or B until you back out to the main menu. Next, you're going to want to go to features, go to settings, and change it to the empirical system, which is the system that you're probably used to using more often than not. Now go back into my career and make sure you're editing the same build as before. It should say point guard, 5'10", 147 pounds. Then you're going to want to go ahead and edit this build. Now for the vitals, you are not going to want to touch anything and just go ahead and press continue. For the height, you're going to want to go up to 6'7", of course. And you guys can already see these attributes are not normal. I guarantee someone's just gonna skip to this part of the video and they're gonna be so confused why my player just has significantly better attributes than theirs. For the weight, you're gonna wanna leave this at 180 pounds to be as quick as possible. And then for the wingspan, I'd recommend going with 7 foot. This just overall helps your defense out a ton. For the finishing attributes, I went with a 43 close shot, a 73 driving layup, and a 92 driving dunk. This gave me in total 17 finishing badges. I went with an 84 three-pointer and a 73 mid-range for shooting. And as you guys saw in the gameplay, I was able to shoot very, very well. Next, for playmaking, you're going to want to go with a 70 pass accuracy and 85 ball handling to get the next tier of dribble moves, and an 83 speed with ball. Overall, this build doesn't have like the craziest movement in the world, but if you know what you're doing, this build can definitely dribble. Next, for defensive / rebounding, put your perimeter defense up to a 94, your steal at a 90, your block at a 75, your defensive rebound at an 81, and then finally for the offensive rebound, you're going to want this at a 57. You're in total going to have 26 defensive / rebounding badges, which honestly isn't like crazy or anything. I know 26 defensive badges is kind of underwhelming, especially for a lockdown build, but I was just way more focused on having the key attributes and badges opposed to having a ginormous badge count. For example, you guys can see I have a 94 perimeter defense and a 90 steal, as well as Hall of Fame clamps and Hall of Fame interceptor. If I dropped the perimeter and steal down to like the mid 80s, I probably could add a lot more badges. And then moving on to the physicals, for the speed, you're going to want this at an 85. For the excel, you're going to want this at an 86. For the vertical, you're going to want this at an 80. And then finally, for the stamina, bump this up to a 94. And you do have a few ratings left. I would recommend just throwing these onto free throw. This is a variation for park mostly, but if you want free throw on this build, then I'd recommend dropping down your stamina to a 92, dropping down your offensive rebound to a 51, and then after that, you can get a 73 free throw. So moving on to the takeovers, I went with first extreme clamps, and then for takeover number 2, I went with limitless range. And as you guys can see, I built a 2-way 3-point shot creator, which honestly, in my opinion, is just such a cool name. And yeah, that's pretty much the exact way that I made this build. Thank you guys so much for watching this entire video. If you did enjoy it, like and subscribe to the channel. There's the best dribble moves for every single build, including this build, as well as a dribble tutorial on the screen right now. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.